What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another edition of Dangle Bet Sally, presented by PointsBet Canada, right here live on our FTN Network YouTube page. Also on Game Plus Network. Chris Meaney and Eric Young here with you. Not going to lie to the people, I am a little sleepy this morning. Last night was fantastic. It was awesome. I don't know how I'm going to do it because, as I told you, I am on the far East Coast. These games wrapped up last night at 3 a.m, and I'm just a true psycho. I can't go to bed. I can't. I have to watch it. It's a passion. We're going to talk about it on the show. I got to watch it. I can't just look at a box score and tell you, oh man, looked like Dallas played real good last night. It was fantastic. It was a great opening night in the NHL for the Stanley Cup playoffs. 2 of the 4 games went to overtime. The other 2 were fairly close as well. The Islanders almost tied it up late. Carolina snuck out a win. And Florida played really good last night too. They played a really good brand of hockey. They took it to the Boston Bruins, and that was an entertaining hockey game as well. Man, what a good start. Welcome, man. What's up?
Yeah, every game was great. It totally lived up to the billing. And I mean, this doesn't come as a surprise to me and you, but the fact that every sports fan should be watching this sport. I don't understand. You can still I love football. I consume it like I consume hockey, but make some, I mean, in here, everyone's well aware, but I'm talking in the world. Make some time, watch some of these Stanley Cup games. It's the best sport in the world, and it's the best tournament in the world is the Stanley Cup playoffs. Dude, last night was amazing. And when you said I can't go to bed, I have to stay up and watch the games.
I couldn't.
It brings a tear to the eye. And that's why, that's why we're on the show. You know what I mean? That's why we do the show. I can't get enough. I can't get enough of talking about hockey.
And you mentioned other sports and, analyzing other sports for years here as a part of FTN and other companies that we used to work for, The Athletic, FNTSY, shout out Anthem Sports Entertainment. I just can't look at a box score and then give advice. Baseball's a different kind of game. I'll watch it in the summer. I'll never watch it over an NBA playoff game, which NBA playoffs were lit last night too. And the NHL playoffs, baseball's such a numbers game that you could just take a look at the statistics and you can get by without maybe seeing, a handful of innings that you just dive into some of the numbers. But the NHL, it's just, there's nothing better than playoff hockey. And the only thing better than playoff hockey is overtime playoff hockey. And we got two games last night in overtime. So it was epic. I'm going to have to incorporate massive naps into my afternoons because I'm not going to be able to keep pace with these double overtime games. And I think we're going to get a lot. DraftKings had the over under at 9.5 overtime games in the first round. I was thinking, man, that's a lot. I really hope we get it. And we are off to what would be a fantastic start. Welcome in. So a little bit late live on our FTN Network YouTube page. That's my bad. We'll get going here and start to dive into the 4 games here tonight. But we do want to recap last night a little bit as well. And we'll say what up to the crew. The crew's been hanging out here. Everybody seems to be super excited as well. Last night was fantastic from a betting standpoint. I think we went 9 for 11, maybe 10 for 12. We did hit on a lot of things. And, sometimes you get lucky when games go to overtime, right? We didn't have Rupe Hintz for over 2.5 shots. The game goes to double overtime. We get Rupe Hintz. Had basically everybody hit in the LA game as well, thanks to overtime. I do want to give a lot of love to Adrian Kempe. Man, he was fantastic, not just last night, but when these two teams played in the opening round last year, he was fantastic. He was putting a lot of pucks on net. He was the guy that was scoring goals for them. A heartbreaking defeat for the Edmonton Oilers. Want to just start there. Any takeaways from the Edmonton or the LA game? They're up 3-1 late in the third. LA ties it up super late. My buddy was there sending me snaps of the entire game. It looked like an electric atmosphere. And then he sent me a snap after LA tied it. Dude, you can hear a pin drop in that building. It was super quiet. Then the Kings win on a power play. Listen, it was a penalty. It was he tripped him. I thought it was a little weak at first, but when you watch it again, he spun around and he tripped him. And it would have been a 2-on-1. It would have been a scoring chance. So you kind of have to call those things. But what'd you take away from that game last night?
100% a penalty. I know it sucks that that's a penalty, but you've got to be in control of your stick. And if you watch them, we were going back and forth last night because we're both insane. And I can't just scream it into the dark of night. I have to tell people. So you're my lifeline, buddy. And you were like, I don't know. I mean, if you watch it, like he thrashes around and he swings his stick. That's a tripping penalty. That's whether it's a bad penalty or a good penalty, it doesn't matter. It is a penalty. Kempe is turning into a playoff performer, right? Like before our very eyes.
So
and you
good.
said he was great last year, almost a coming out party in the playoffs last year, even though he was great during the regular season. That's when people really took notice of him. Obviously, he like rocketed up draft boards and was still, like highly thought of. But I mean, I think I'm not going to speak for you, but I don't think people think highly enough of this player. That play to give him their second goal where he goes from the face-off, he goes from backhand to forehand. It's like a millisecond and is in the back of the net. That is a world-class shot and release. And, you can work on those things and get better at it, but some guys just have it. And he's one of those guys that just has it, just can really shoot the puck with crazy precision. And the crazy thing about it is how quickly it comes off his blade. Like it doesn't, as a person who's played hockey since he's 5 and can barely hold on to my stick, it's infuriating.
Man, that backhand goal that he had top shelf was just absolutely just so nasty. The 5-5 numbers here for the LA Kings. It was Kopitar who led the way in shot attempts with 6, Kempe with 5. Not a lot of shots really for this LA team at 5-5. I mean, Kempe led the way with 3 shots, and there's a handful of guys with 2. He did have 4. Kopitar, that is 4 high danger chances. The next guy on the team was Grunstrom, Carl, with 2 high danger chances, and he only played 9 minutes at 5.
Just like we thought it would be.
Yeah, the Oilers actually played pretty good. At 5-5, McDavid had his chances for sure, but overall, this is something we're going to do on the show. We're going to fill the 46 minutes, the hour time block here at Game Plus Network, but we're also going to recap just quickly, and then we'll get into tonight's games. We'll get it all in here. But the Oilers, in terms of 5-5 numbers, 68 shot attempts. They had 36 shots and just 21 against. The scoring chances were 37-23 in favor of Edmonton, and the high danger chances were 17-9 in favor of the Edmonton Oilers as well. And just taking a look at some of their 5-5 numbers, I thought that Bouchard was all over the ice. He was really good. He had 6 scoring chances last night, and Warren Fogle led the way in terms of scoring chances for the Oilers. Draisaitl 6 shots at 5-5. Hyman 5 shots. McDavid was, he had his chances. He had 4 shot attempts and 3 shots overall at 5-5. And of course, Edmonton's power play is just so lethal when you include the power play. Draisaitl, McDavid, and Bouchard, along with Hyman, all had 8 shot attempts. So like a lot of danger when those guys get on the power play. But Philip Deneau, I still think he's one of the most underrated players in the league, man. And I've seen him since day one. Like when he was drafted first round of the Hawks, the Habs traded for him, and you can see a little bit in his game offensively, but more known for his defensive prowess, if you will. When the Habs went on their run, I thought he was just phenomenal. Like shutting down Marner Matthews, shutting down Stone and Pacioretty, shutting down Connor and Scheifele in Winnipeg. And then last year, what he did in a 7-game series against the Oilers. And then last night too. It's not too often you don't see Connor McDavid. Like not only like he didn't score, he didn't even pick up a point last night.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
And that's
because he's 150 something.
The big thing for me is just that. It's obviously something they're going to concentrate on, because if you want to win the game, you got to try to contain him. And the LA Kings, I get Draisaitl scored 2 goals, right? But McDavid had no points, and that's a win for LA. And I think it would be backbreaking if you manage to keep Connor McDavid off the score sheet and you lose. So, they earned that win. I would say that from how it looked from me watching was Oilers, man, the first period, you're like, oh, geez. Man,
oh, yeah, they came out flying.
Yeah. Edmonton's going to be a real problem for every team that plays them. But LA stuck with it, kept working, and we ended up with a great hockey game. I think that Edmonton kind of took their foot off the gas a bit, is what it felt like to me. And
Yeah,
they
no
let
fair.
LA creep back in. And you just can't do that, man. You just can't do it. I mean, Oilers have enough playoff experience now where I don't imagine we'll see that again. I think a big question for them is, can Stuart Skinner make a stop when they need it? Because last night he
He
couldn't.
didn't. No, you're right. He didn't. Okay, we'll move on from this game. Big takeaways for me from like a shot props standpoint, excuse me. Leon Draisaitl was 2.5. We got him last night at 2.5 shots at -135. As I mentioned, last night was pretty good. I mean, we didn't get DeBrusk shots. We got him for a point. Hintz for shots. Leon Draisaitl was -132. We had Hintz was plus money. He's been plus money for a little bit. We had Kempe and Boldy in a parlay. We had the under in Carolina and the Islanders. We had Sorokin over 30.5 saves. We got that one pretty easily. Bertuzzi point. Hyman assists. We had some same game parlay stuff in there as well. Didn't get Dallas, was on the Stars. Let's just actually go to Dallas. Troy's in the house here. Dallas was unlucky to not win last night. They dominated the second half of that game. Hartman was working his tail off while injured to get that goal. Good for him. This was an unbelievable game.
It was
Dallas
so
and
good.
Minnesota was fantastic. It was just like old school playoff hockey written all over it. It was tough. It was really physical. We are rooting here for Joe Pavelski. Really hope Pavelski's okay here. Matthew Bingham in the house. That's a loss for Dallas if he misses time. He was on a heater the last few weeks of the regular season. Yeah, there's no question. They really could have used him in the couple power plays they had in overtime. Just the experience that he brings to the squad as well. And they had to juggle some of their lines. They had Sagan up on that top line. I thought Minnesota played really good to start the game, especially in the second period. They had a very, very strong second period, and they had Dallas on their heels. But, man, the Stars were fantastic. I tweeted this out just now, but from the third period on into the two overtimes, these were the shot attempts for Dallas. 84-36. The shots were 39-18. The scoring chances were 34-13, and the high danger chances were 12-5. Those are the all strength numbers. Even if you look at 5-5, there's a significant edge for the Dallas Stars. Both goalies were absolutely fantastic. Philip Gustafsson, we've been talking about as one of the better tandems, right? Between him and Fleury. Yeah. He was great. I made some jokes in the tweeting with you before we got on about how the Ottawa Senators maybe should have hung on to that guy because they really could have used a goalie this year. And Jake Ottinger, when he needed to be there, he was there as well. Like, it didn't seem like Minnesota generated much in the two overtimes and in the third period, but the chances that they got were like 2-on-1s or breakaways or partial, like all alone. Like, it was there were quality chances for sure. But man, what a hockey game last night. I hope we get 6 more in that series.
It was everything you want it to be. It was already rough and pretty intense. Then the Dumba on Pavelski hit happens. People have been asking what my opinion. I think it's a penalty, but I don't think it's targeting. He did. From the views I've seen, it doesn't look like he even makes contact with his head. He hits his head when he hits the ice. It is what it looked like to me. The puck is gone, and that's a completely unnecessary hit. And it's not a defenseless player, but it's the puck is gone, right? Like, you just don't think a guy's going to come across, cut backwards like that and smack you. I mean, Dumba's a big, strong dude. He definitely, left his feet a little bit, but I still think it's a clean hit in the letter of the law of contact. But I think you could still call roughing on the play because the puck is gone, or late hit, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, you hope Pavelski comes back. I mean, dude, he was unconscious. So I would be very surprised if he plays the next game because of all the concussion protocols. I'm not going to get into my opinion on those because I don't need the hate. But the game was great. I would say Dean Evison, tip of the cap. I thought for sure Fleury would start because of the experience. He's basically been their starter all year. Gustafson's played a ton, but Fleury would be considered their starter. And then all of a sudden, boom, Gustafson's in the net and
made the right call.
He looked amazing.
Yeah, he certainly made the right call. I just thought Minnesota looked gassed, right? I thought they were just, I didn't think that they could keep up that physical play the entire time, and it certainly did catch up to them. One takeaway for me, and it's every time I watch this Dallas team, it's easy to look at Rupe Hintz and Jason Robertson and maybe the breakout of Wyatt Johnson, but Mira Heiskanen is just such a player, man.
What a player.
Over 40 minutes for him last night, 30 at 5-on-5. He had 10 shot attempts. Robertson had 9 shot attempts. Robertson looked gassed as well. Minnesota just finishes everything. And Minnesota finishes every hit, right? And they're really tough to play against. They play really physical. I thought the hit was slightly late, maybe a little high, but I didn't think it should be 5 in a game. The game just happened so quickly. It's easy to slow it down and say that was a high and a late hit, but at the end of the day, he's just kind of finishing his check there, and certainly an unfortunate incident. I don't even know, man, if we see Pavelski the rest of the series, but a huge loss for the Stars. I think they can feel good about their game. I think they can feel good. Like, hey, listen, we played, the last, 60, 65 minutes. We dominated this game. We played really good. We can feel great about my game, but now they lost Pavelski and they lost home ice advantage. And Minnesota is not an easy place to go play hockey. 5-5 numbers here. Robertson, as I mentioned, 9 shot attempts, and Heiskanen had 10 shots and shot attempts rather. Sagan had the 4 shots. Robertson had 4. Wyatt Johnson, Evgeny Dadonov had 4 as well. So something to keep an eye on. Tyler Sagan will be a sneaky little shot prop guy, goal scorer guy, hit, for a point, because I do expect him to be the number 1 center, or not center. I guess maybe they'll put him on the wing. They'll have to juggle their lines, and they're not going to juggle that second line at all. I think they'll move Sagan up the lineup. So that was fantastic. Hammerhead Union in the house. Good morning, fellas. Mini Dallas draw bet and under every night. Easy money, he says. Islanders under. Yeah, I like the draw bet stuff. I feel like we could see a lot of overtimes between these two teams, but I don't know if the under is easy. The goaltending is phenomenal, but there should have been like 10 goals scored last night in that hockey game. Islanders getting abused at 5-5 last night, Troy says. What'd you make of the Islanders and the Hurricanes? Is another decision. Rod Brandamore surprised, I think, some people going with Ranta as his game 1 starter, and seemed to be the right call there too.
Yeah, surprised me. I do want to say one more thing about the Minnesota game. The call to start and play Brock Faber. Dude, Evanson is the chess master right now, right? Like that diving stick check. That's a goal. Like that's a goal in any universe. He saves the game. The play along the wall where he gets smashed. He pins the puck. He holds onto it. Another guy comes in and runs into him, and he just stays calm. Like, this is a child. He can't even buy a beer at Applebee's, and he's out in the NHL playoffs. It was what a call. I mean, Dean Evason, it looks like the Grand Wizard right now, and I'm loving it. Okay.
That was a great call, and he did stand out last night. Kempe 8 shots last night, have him at 12.5 for the first 4 games. Lock it up. Yeah, lock it up. I see FanDuel's doing some shot props that don't include overtime. Ooh, I don't like that at all. It can't be having that. I understand where they're coming from.
They're learning.
I understand where they're coming from, because we are going to see some massive 2 and 3 overtime games, and when that happens, like, all the shot props just hit. So it's tough to take any unders these days, and really taking goalie saves is even, I love it even more now than regular season stuff, because for the most part you're not pulling your starter, and these games can go to overtime, right? Heiskanen legit could win Norris next season. I mean, he's fantastic. He's such a good skater on the ice all the time. He's so smooth. He's got great hands, great vision. Man, he's just, his ability to move up and down the ice. He can pinch, he can join the rush, and he can get back pretty quickly. Yeah, he is starting to find his groove, and there's, I think, another element to his game he could untap. Daily Handle in the house, what's up? Ottinger made some PTP saves where you say how. He did. He really made some fantastic saves. It was really good. Both goalies were absolutely amazing last night. Okay, the other 2 here, and then we'll get going. Florida and Boston. As I mentioned, I thought Boston, I don't know, the bug, right? I don't want to say quotes, and there was a bug. I mean, Patrice Bergeron didn't play. There was talk about some guys losing 8 to 9 pounds. Both goalies were questionable heading into the game. And I was thinking, here we go. Here's this President's Trophy curse. It's happening right in front of our eyes. The Panthers came out strong. They had a really good second period. Their 5-5 play was really good. In the third period, they were just a no-show, and that's what Boston does to you. They just kind of trapped you, middle of the ice. They didn't give up anything really at all in the third period. The goal that they scored was pretty lucky. It was a nice goal and tight from Matthew Tkachuk, but it was just a wraparound on the boards that Dmitry Orlov kind of tipped and went right to him in the slot. So even Boston not playing their best game last night, Linus Ullmark was fantastic. Without Bergeron, their captain, they still found a way to win the hockey game. So any takeaways? Some people are talking about maybe going to Sergei Bobrovsky. I see here that I think Hammerhead Union talked about Line being fantastic last night. He was really good. He made some really, really good saves, especially on some 2-on-1s where he read the play nice, but he led in the softie against Bergeron or Marchand, where you got to have that. I think you got to go back to him. On NHL Network last night, they were saying this is an opportunity to go to Bobrovsky. He hasn't played in 3 weeks. And his last 7 games, he allowed 4 goals in 5 of those games. Play the guy who got you here to this point. If he doesn't have a good game too, then you go back home and you can make that switch. I think you definitely have to keep with Alex Line between the pipes. But what'd you take away from that game?
100%. The Florida Panthers aren't there if it's not for Alex Line. Like, I mean, exactly. At the very least, he needs to start the next game. You know, obviously, it's do or die, man. Like, if he lets in a soft goal or 2 soft goals in the first and second period, then make your move. Pull him and put in Bobrovsky. I was pointed out to my poor wife because there's nobody for me to talk to, so I'm breaking it down to her last night and telling her how Bobrovsky makes $10 million and he's just sitting there with his ball cap on, cool as a cucumber. Not a bad way to make a living. But Alex Line is the reason that they're in this position. Look at Matthew Tkachuk, great season, this, that, and the other. But without Alex Line coming in and playing the way he did in the tail end of the season, they're not in the playoffs. It's literally as simple as that. He's earned to play again, and he should play again. Boston is just Boston. Like, it's insane. And if Patrice Bergeron doesn't play, it's serious. I was also explaining to my poor wife that he played 2 years ago with a punctured lung. And she's like, wait, like they knew he had a punctured lung and he still played? And I was like, yes. And which is insane. It's insane. It's insane. Yeah. So, I mean, I have Boston winning this series. I went that way. I'm cheering for Florida. I want Florida to win. I love Matthew Tkachuk. This is a Florida Panthers show. We've been Florida Panther fans for several years now. Anthony Duclair, and like they just got a bunch of really cool players. Yeah. And I'm tired of Boston, and I don't want the Maple Leafs to get beat by Boston.
Well, there it is. There I was waiting for it. It's like, I'm a Florida Panthers. Yeah, you should be
terrified. Everyone should be. Look at their team; it's insane.
I know. All my Leafs buddies too are picking Florida, like upset first round, and I know they're just kind of doing it with their heart, right? The Panthers are not going to win this series, but they did play really good last night, and I think there's a bunch of takeaways they can take from that game and say that they hung around. But ultimately, the Bruins didn't play their best hockey game, and they still found a way to win and only allow 1 goal. Not a lot from 5-5 here. Dmitry Orlov led the way with 7 shot attempts, Coyle with 4. I thought that line was actually pretty good. Coyle and Frederick with Taylor Hall. Coyle led the way with 4 shots, Bertuzzi with 3 shots, Marchand with 3. That's kind of my big takeaway is Bertuzzi. If Bertuzzi's going to play on that second line, we got him last night at -108 for a point. He was +175 for an assist. He picked up 2 apples. He had a beautiful pass to Pasternak on the power play. If he's going to be on that second line and it's not Zach, we'll see what happens. When Bergeron is back, they could put Bertuzzi on that third line, Zach on that second line with Krejci. But if Bertuzzi's playing on that second line, he's going to be terrific value throughout the entire playoffs. He's going to be sneaky in your playoff pools. He's going to be near even money for a point, plus money shooting the puck. Yeah. So he is a guy that you definitely want to keep an eye on. And then the final game, I was probably for me, the least entertaining of the 4, and I'm not really surprised, but there was some action towards the end of the game, and I see some people were having some success, of course, with the unders and the Islanders and the Hurricanes. It was -135, I think I put in the tracker. And at no point did I ever feel like we weren't going to get it. It was a 2-1 victory for Carolina. Any takeaways? Just kind of how you thought it was going to go? Low scoring. Hurricanes came out strong. They scored on a power play goal early. Brett Burns was just a force. Any takeaways you have from Carolina and New York? Sorokin was
pretty even game. Carolina did what they've done for the majority of the season, and they just kind of skated the Islanders into the earth. Like it's just this relentless wave of pressure. And if they can get saves when they need them, and Ranta gave them that, and limit the chances, Islanders not an offensive juggernaut by any metric anywhere in the world. I think Barzal looked okay, but I mean, he hasn't played a hockey in months, right? Like it's going to take him a bit to get up and running. I think this is going to be a highly competitive series. I think the Islanders bounce back, but I will be the first to admit that Carolina definitely did not look tired. Can they keep it up? We're going to find out.
This is what they do, man. This is what they do. I still like the Islanders to upset. I mean, I had 7. I still like it. I'm not shocked that Carolina won that first game. In fact, I felt like they would win it maybe a little bit more comfortably. I thought that they were going to win like a 3-4-0 game, just like first game at home. And like they came out flying. 23 shot attempts in the first to 13. The shots were 12-6. But, New York kind of settled down. And man, their power play is just pathetic. I mean, it was the 4th worst power play all year long, and they couldn't even set up anything last night. I mean, Carolina's got the best penalty kill in the game, number 1 and number 2. I totally get it. And the Hurricanes' power play is no good either. But when they got their chances, especially early, like that Sebastian Aho goal, I just thought, okay, well, they could score on power play. It's probably over for them. But the shot attempts, and it's something that we've said all year. Brady Shea led this team in shot attempts at 5-5 with 8. Next was Burns, then Brett Pesce. So it's all from their blue line. They're all very active in their shooting. And that's one thing I actually noticed from Florida too. Ekblad's got to be on your shot prop list as well moving forward. Yeah. They really activated him. He was aggressive. But Brett Burns and Brady Shea lead the way in terms of shots. Martin Necas, who we did have at over 2.5, when he hit there as well. For the Islanders, 5-5 numbers. Pollock and Bolduc were their shot attempt leaders at 7. They didn't really generate anything. They didn't have one guy with over 2 shots at 5-5. Horvat, Palmieri, Barzal each had 2. Everybody else is fairly quiet. Islanders play a really just strong brand of 5-5 hockey. So they're going to have to find, or the Hurricanes rather, the Islanders are going to have to find a way to score when they get power play opportunities. And they're just going to have to lean on Sorokin, man. And I would take any shot prop over Sorokin. 34.5. I'd take anything over 34.5 because the guy's going to just see a lot of rubber in this series. All right, let's get after tonight. Let's start with what you're rocking. What do you got over there? Leafs, old school jersey. What is this? Wendell Clark, Doug Gilmour?
Dougie.
93.
The killer.
Okay.
One of my favorite players of all time.
Yeah.
I chat with him sometimes on Twitter, which, if 12-year-old me knew that, I would explode. My head would explode. Great dude, great player. Toronto, this is the year, right? Like, I mean, you can't say it enough. Obviously they have to get by Tampa. People that bet against Tampa, that's including me right now, are insane, right? They're the Tampa Bay Lightning, but I would say that the Maple Leafs have never been more set up to get past the first round over the last 4 or 5 years than they are this year. And I believe it happens.
Dougie's a great guy. I met him at a charity event, a golf, Greg's On golf event, and I was chopping it up with him a little bit after. I have a lot of memories from him as well. Like as a kid in '93, I definitely remember that cup run, and like part of my family is like a Leafs side. And then like my dad's side's all Habs. So the Habs they were already on their way to the 93 Stanley Cup finals, and the Leafs are playing the Kings. Of course, Leafs fans know, you're well aware. And there's a couple memories I have.
Fist fight Wayne Gretzky. That's a penalty.
There's a couple memories I have. Certainly a penalty for sure in the finals, and then Gretzky scoring that goal after. But the St. Louis and Toronto series as well with Doug Gilmour behind the net, that fake behind the net, and then he wrapped it around on Cujo. Dave Andrechuk, Clark. Yeah, there's a lot of memories I have. And then when I met Gilmour, I said, there's a memory that stands out to me from you, and it's probably not one that you get from other fans, because he played a minute for the Habs, and which must have been weird for the Toronto Maple Leafs fans to see. And it was super cool because he was great. He was a little bit older in his career, but he was good at the time too. Like I remember him and Petrov, and like he had some nice moments. But in the playoffs, I think it was the first or second round, he got a penalty that he didn't like. And when he went to the box, and I'm explaining the story to him, he's like, oh yeah, this one. And he shut the glass door in the penalty box, and it shattered. And I was thinking to myself, what were you thinking when that happened? He was just like, in his head, stay cool, stay cool, stay cool. Don't get unfazed. I can't believe that happened. Like he was saying, I can't believe that happened. I'm going to get kicked out of the game. What did I do? He's like, I didn't really do anything. It was just a little bit of force, and the entire penalty box glass just absolutely shattered. And he's true. He's standing there like a killer. Like he's just unfazed the whole situation. Like it didn't faze him at all. It was great.
What a player, man.
What a player. Here we go. Leafs and Bolts. So these are series prices, minus 150 and plus 130. The odds for this evening, very similar. You're not the only one that's on the Leafs. Clearly all of Leafs
Nation. That's what scares me.
But you know what? They're always on them. I saw the Sportsnet.
Been on them for the last 3 years.
No doubt. I saw the Sportsnet tweets last night. Basically, I think 25 of their 28 analysts all picked Toronto in like 5, 6, and 7. They do it every year, and then at the end of the day, everyone always makes fun and posts. But I'm right there with them.
This is a really important one.
Minus 155 here for the Maple Leafs at home, and the Lightning are checking in at plus 135. This should be epic. It should be fantastic as well. Everything we talked about in the preview, in terms of the series itself, I thought the Leafs were the better team last year. I think they're the better team than Tampa this year. And I think they're more improved themselves this year, right? Ryan O'Reilly, deeper down the middle, whether he plays second line center, third line center, they have some things they can do. The bottom six is tougher to play against as well. Achari, Lafferty, just tougher, more physical, experience, couple cups on the resume. The blue line is more physical, tougher to play against as well, right? And then they're better in goal than they were last year and the year before with Ilya Samsonov. He's been really, really strong this season. So I think he could go toe-to-toe with Vasilevsky. I don't know if he can be better than him, but the gap is certainly closed. I like the Leafs to take care of business tonight to get a game 1 series lead. I like them to win this series in 6. I think there's value to take them, in the series spread at plus money to win in 6. And I think they start here tonight. So I'm on them. Matthews, back of the net, early goal.
Oh, yeah.
First time goal, I think, is pretty interesting for Austin Matthews too.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I definitely have Matthews to score and Nylander to score. The Tampa Bay side, Point and Stamkos. The reality is this is just take the fandom out of it. Like, look at all these players that we're going to get to watch go head to head in a first round playoff match. The reality is a very, very good team is going to be out after this round, and that makes my hockey heart sad. It's going to happen. It happens every year, but like thinking about, Tampa or Toronto, either one of those two teams could win the Stanley Cup, and one of the two probably should. And Boston, right? One of those 3 teams should win it because of their play, because of the players they have, and there's no guarantee, and that's part of the excitement. This is going to be a great game. I will watch every second of it. I will drink beer out of a Toronto Maple Leafs glass. I will wear my Toronto Maple Leafs shirt and Toronto Maple Leafs hat, and the Toronto Maple Leafs will win this game tonight.
It sounds like a wrestling promo for you. I will wear this. I will wear that. I will be drinking.
It's been a while, buddy.
They will.
Got to stay sharp.
They will win this game. Killorn has been a heater heading into the playoffs. Is your boy. I feel like Alex Killorn is your guy. A little sprinkle on Mr. Killorn. See some people just trying to catch up here on the chat, guys. Death, taxes, and Hagel goal tonight. I really like Hagel as well. And I do agree with you, Hammerhead Union. Usually do. You got some nice takes. I think I saw earlier that you felt like he should be up on that first line. Yeah, he should be playing. Yeah, this is what I want to see. He needs to play with Cooch and Point, Hagel, Cooch, and Point. That should be a line. They've been great all year long. I see some people talking about the overtime as well. I saw the Matthew Bingham in the house. What's up? Jason Prince in the house. Welcome in. Die Hard. He's ashamed. He to admit it. He tapped out Woke up mad because the Stars lost. I was bummed as well. And I saw this. No way, Matthew. Tell your wife no way. Says his wife is not a fan of the late games going to overtime. She wants 3-on-3 shootout, quick finish back.
Oh.
No way. We can't have
No.
that. We couldn't have it. Emmerich in the house. Good morning. Good morning, guys. Wanted to say what up to you guys. It's a little bit of a different show here, different feel. And yeah, Daily Handle asks if your wife likes hockey. I don't think she has much of a choice, dude.
No. She loves sports. I'm very lucky. She tolerates the mania of hockey being on our TV from 6 o'clock at night to 1 o'clock in the morning. She's a Predators fan and loves them and follows them. I mean, again, has no choice, but certainly does not enjoy every game like I do. But she's very tolerant, and I couldn't be married to somebody that wasn't. Look at me.
Look at you, is right. I like Austin Matthews over 4.5 shots. You better be tolerant. Yeah. I like Austin Matthews over 4.5 shots plus money. I like Braden Point too over 2.5 shots. He's been shooting. Sometimes he doesn't shoot all that much. It's playoffs. It's playoff time here now. The other night he played the Leafs. He had like 8 or 9 shots and goal. I actually like Matthews to get an apple too. I know we're talking about him as a goal scorer, but plus 100 for an Austin Matthews assist is not too bad. I think the Leafs win this game. Okay, let's anything else you want to add? You want to add you're good?
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
I can't wait for this. I can't wait. I mean, it's going to be an amazing game. I cannot wait.
I can't fall behind 1-0, man, because then I just still feel like even though some of the players they brought in, I still feel like there's I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. Uncertainty, maybe the confidence factor, right? I think this team is still fragile. I think they need to get up. And once they get one series win,
who wouldn't be, right?
Right. Yeah.
There's not a human being that would be, money aside, breaking records, scoring 60 goals, hundreds of points, this, that, and the other. It doesn't matter, right? Like, I mean, the brain is a powerful thing, and they should have won last year. They probably should have won the year before, and they just can't. They just can't.
Die Hard MMA pod. Curse. The word you're looking for is a curse.
Curse. Yeah.
Yeah, because some of those playoff series, there's no question they definitely should have won. Okay. Other Eastern Conference playoff matchup here tonight. Are you kidding me?
Damn you, NHL, for putting these on the same night.
I know. I'm gonna have this both screens going here tonight.
I'm gonna have
to get a load of
this myself.
This one, I mean, they're all going to be fantastic, but are you kidding me with this one?
Yeah,
this has a chance to be just such an epic series. I think this is one too where we can see some overtimes. I think we can see some overtimes. I mean, 2 of the 3 or 4 games they played, I believe, went to overtime. Tight checking potentially. Man, I don't even know where to start here. I am in on the Rangers, but as I mentioned on the preview show, it was the toughest series for me to call. New Jersey checks a lot of boxes for me. 5-5, they're a really strong team. Top 5 in terms of high danger chances created, eliminating high danger chances, shots, goals. They're just a really good 5-5 team. And the same honestly can't be said about the Rangers. They do have a really good power play. They have the better goalie, and it is experience versus youth. It really is. We talked about it all year. Learn how to lose before you learn how to win. That may mean nothing in this series to the New Jersey Devils, but the Rangers do have the experience. 1 goal away from getting to the Stanley Cup Finals last year. The kid line broke out, I thought, last year in the playoffs, and they brought in 4 Stanley Cups at the deadline, 3 from Patrick Kane and 1 from Vladimir Tarasenko. I put in a bet last night like a lunatic at, what time is it? 3:11 in the morning, my time. That's what time I put in a bet. Maybe I should go to sleep. Jack Hughes over 3.5 shots, minus 130. I don't even know what it is right now. I'm going to take a look, but I think Hughes, I think it's, minus 130 still over at FanDuel. Bet Rivers, minus 157, minus 155 over at PointsBet. But I don't know if I'll go as high as a 2.9 plus 140, maybe crazy, but I do like Jack Hughes to be a factor in this game. I think he's going to shoot. And if I'm picking a Ranger on the other side, Mika Zibanejad has just been like a playoff performer over the past couple of seasons. I'm in on him. I think he finds a way to score, and I like his 3 shots. It's really tough to figure out which Ranger guy is going to put pucks towards the net, but Mika's the shooter on the first power play, and
Yep.
Tarasenko's the shooter on the other. So those are the two guys I'm really taking a look at here tonight. Where are you at, man? This one should just be phenomenal. I can't wait.
Yeah, it should be phenomenal. There's so many good players. It is hard to pick, but I'm in lockstep with you. I think Hughes shows up in a massive way. I got him and Timo Meier to score on the New Jersey side, and the Rangers. I've been hammering Zibanejad. I mean, I probably every game he played that we did a show. I'm sure you could go back and look. I picked him to score. He rewarded me a lot, so I'm going to stick with him. And I think Panarin, I think this is an important series for him, an important playoff. And the last couple of weeks of the game, of the season, he really took over games, and I'm looking for him to continue that.
Okay, I dig it. I really do. Patrick Kane's going to be up on that top line with Kreider and Mika Zibanejad, and Tarasenko's on that second line. So I got Tarasenko for a point. Just feel like he'll probably get 3 shots too, but I'm in on the point, and it's plus 100 over at FanDuel. As for Patrick Kane, I'm just looking at maybe an assist prop for him. Minus 135 is not too bad for a Patrick Kane assist. And then maybe Nico Hischier shots. Yeah, goalie saves both sides. I could see it, right? I could see this.
Yep.
Do you feel like it's going to be a high-scoring affair? I mean, both of these teams have the ability, but when they played each other, it's kind of been, some tight check. In the first couple games were some offense, but down the stretch, it was like a 2-1 game, and I thought it was pretty tight check, and both goalies were really good. So I think the save props are definitely in play here. I wouldn't be shocked if this game went to overtime. There's going to be some moments in the series where there's a lot of goal scoring, but maybe we just call a couple here tonight. Okay. Who wins it? Who takes game 1?
Rangers.
Yeah, I like the Rangers too. On the road as dogs, plus 114 over at Bet Rivers.
Like on the road, like 25 minutes away. So,
and the crowds should be epic too. It should be fantastic.
It should be. I mean, all games should be a pretty even mix.
Yeah. Dawson Mercer maybe picks up a point as well. It's a guy that you can get some pretty good odds.
Like that call.
All right. Colorado, Seattle. Colorado, Seattle. In Colorado, Makar is good to go. They got their blue line healthy, ready to rock. Defending Stanley Cup champion Avs. Whew, man, I really want the Kraken. I think the Kraken are going to surprise some people. I think they are. I think they're going to win a couple games in this series. They play really good 5-5 hockey. I like the Bratt call, by the way, Joey. I like Bratt for an assist, actually.
Great player.
Yeah, great player. And I think he can get plus money on that call. Plus 150 for an assist, minus 140 for a point. Bratt is a nice call in there, Joey. Hammerhead Union saying Seattle in 7, Kraken in 7. I would love to see it. I do think this series is going to go the distance. Go ahead, take it away. What you got over there for plays first?
I mean, obviously a compelling series. The Colorado Avalanche won the Stanley Cup last year, and they were a juggernaut. I mean, I don't think them making it to the Stanley Cup final or winning it was a surprise to anybody. Obviously, them playing Tampa, and you're like, wow, Tampa could win 3 in a row. They're great too. But Colorado rolled. This year, not so much. There was definitely times where we're like, man, are they even going to make the playoffs? That wasn't that long ago where the hockey world was having that conversation. War of attrition, tons of injured players, haven't had their captain for an entire season. On the Seattle side, it's just such a compelling team because of how it's put together, right? It's just, there is no team like them where they roll 4 lines. They've got David Sprong and Tolevin playing 10 or 11 minutes a night, and they seems like one of those 2 guys scores every night. Jared McCann having an obvious career season with a shooting percentage that just is not sustainable, but he's done it all year. Can he continue to do it? I think he can. I think McCann scores tonight. And I'm going with Yanni Gourde. Yanni Gourde over the last couple of weeks scored a bunch. And if you watch Seattle games, and I did, he's involved, right? He's just all over the ice. This is a player, a leader in this locker room, a guy that played on Tampa, won Stanley Cups. He'll be, a great voice in the room for them. So I love him. And on the Colorado side, I'm going McKinnon and my boy Nichushkin.
Nichushkin, your boy. Yeah, I like it. I like the over. I like offense. I'm going to like offense, I think, throughout this entire series. Georg as a goalie, I do respect. I think he's good. But Grubauer, again, we talked about it all year. The team didn't give up a lot at 5-5 in terms of chances, but they just didn't get the save. They didn't get the saves last year. They didn't get the saves this year. Colorado can obviously score. They got so much, firepower and star power up and down their lineup. So I don't know if that shooting percentage, again, they had I think 11% shooting percentage at 5-5. Does that carry over here into the playoffs? Maybe not, but I like goals and I like offense. And there's some good value here for some guys. Like Lehkonen is minus 138 for a point. He's plus 150 for an assist. He's on that second line right now with Comper and Chushkin, but they could rotate through some guys. He's on that first power play, which is key for me. 138 for a point. Evan Rodriguez is on that top line with McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen. He's minus 102 for a point. He's plus 205 for an assist, and he's also plus 115 for 3 shots. I think Rodriguez probably picks up an assist at plus 205, and I think he gets 3 shots. Eberle is plus 120 for a point. McCann is 134 for a point. I think both of those guys hit the score sheet. It correlates well. There's some pretty good odds for those guys. I think the betting market is actually a little bit down and sour on the Kraken here because the Avs are the defending Stanley Cup champs. So there's a lot of different ways to wrap up. Lehkonen, Rodriguez points, Rodriguez shots, McKinnon point, Eberle point. I like McKinnon to have shots, and I like McCann to have 3 shots too. It's a little bit juice, but I like it. Next one. Vegas and Winnipeg will wrap up here. Kyle Connor show. We got Mark Stone back in the lineup for Vegas. He hasn't played in like 3 months. Awesome, right? We got Jack Eichel here going to make his Stanley Cup playoff debut. Connor Hellebuck has absolutely been on a heater. I like the under in this game. I don't think we'll see a lot of offense. I like the way that Vegas plays hockey, their style that they play. They don't give up a whole lot. They're pretty stingy. And they've been getting good goaltending like we've talked about. Laurent Brossoit, revenge game here for Laurent Brossoit. Is he the game 1 starter? I just assume that he is, that he's going to be the game 1 starter. They could go with the experience and Jonathan Quick, but
they could go they could go 4 different ways, right?
Yeah, they've had like 7 different goalies this year. It looks like Mark Stone's going to play on that third line with Chandler Stevenson. So they got balance up and down their lineup with Kessel, Riley Smith, and Carlson on that second line, and then Marchessault, Barbashev, and Jack Eichel there. So you're the goal scorer caller. I'm sure there's going to be a couple here. I like Vegas to win this game at home, but I think it's going to be tight. I see like a 3-2 game, 2-1 game, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my feeling is wrong here. What you got over there?
Yeah, I think it'll be tight as well. Vegas side, I think Eichel, this is going to be a resurgence of him, kind of taking over games, skating like we know that he can, dictating pace. I think that, the fact that it's almost criminal that this is the first time he's played in a playoff game because of the player that he was in the past. And I think has kind of in the late part of the season has really rounded back into Jack Eichel. And I got Stone to score as well because he's Mark Stone. I mean, that's the analysis. He's not a good skater. He's slow. He's old. He's coming off an injury. He hasn't played hockey in 3 or 4 months, but he's still Mark Stone, and I believe he scores tonight. Winnipeg sign, of course, it's Connor playing his best hockey at the most important time of the year, and I'm going Nikolai Ehlers as well. Ehlers has got a lot to prove, right? Like I think it's he wants to have a big showing here for his future and future contract consideration. And I think he shows up in a massive way.
I love it. Eichel for an assist plus 122 for me. Mark Stone for a point minus 122. Shea Theodore is juiced at 1.5 shots. I don't know why, but I'd put that in a parlay. I think he's getting 2 shots for sure. Alex Pietrangelo over 2.5 shots is plus 128. And I like Kyle Connor for 3 shots. All right, we did it. We wrapped up. Stone with the winner. Series ends in 6. Under in the draw. That's one that I feel like, we probably see some overtime games in this series as well. Do you want to recap through maybe your best 3 goal scorers? Yesterday, I went 7 for 10 in the FTN daily article. So I'll just go first, and I don't have many. I like Mika Zibanejad, Jack Hughes. I like Austin Matthews, not break any news. I like Austin Matthews and Brendan Hagel. I like Jonathan Marchessault and Kyle Connor. I like Jared McCann, and I don't want to give Nathan McKinnon, but I do believe McKinnon scores a goal tonight. Like the guy just shoots the puck like a psycho. So I have to pick him. And if I'm picking another one on the Avs, it would be Evan Rodriguez. What you got?
I'll just go through the list quick. I got Zibanejad, Panarin, Hughes, Meyer, Connor, Ehlers, Eichel, Stone, McCann, Gord, McKinnon, Nikushkin, Matthews, Nylander, Point, Stamkos. Sounds like an all-star game, and that's awesome. Doing a 4-way parlay tonight with Hughes, Matthews, Eichel, and McKinnon. And if I'm going to say one person's going to score, it's going to be Austin Matthews.
Pretty good bet. If you're going to pick somebody, pretty good bet. Austin Matthews. Yeah, I think these are pretty good ones too. William Nylander, a goal, or Bunting. I like Bunting maybe for a point. There's some decent value on him to pick up a point, maybe or Apple. Yeah. But I do like Nylander, right? OEY on Willie, of course. There you go. All right, guys, enjoy. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We will be back on Thursday to talk about these very same games. And this is kind of the pattern that we're on with this set of the 4. And then we will recap the other ones as well. So for myself, Chris Meaney and Eric Young, appreciate you guys. Smash the like button, subscribe, tell a friend, and enjoy the hockey. Try to get some sleep. Hang out with the wife in the afternoon, maybe in the evening before puck drops. We'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.